a thoroughbred from Maranello that capped a dynasty. A heavyweight out of Detroit that started its own dynasty. One, a modest GT racer that was able to outlast the thundering prototypes. The other, the reverse side of the coin, a prime example of the prototype so powerful it redefined its class. The Ferrari 250 LM and the Ford GT40. Each of these cars has its own unique story at sports car racing's most hallowed event, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. For years, these legends have been hidden away, engines silenced, their appearances on racetracks frozen in time, as these titans hibernated in a museum in Indianapolis. Today, that changes. For possibly the first and last time, these two icons will run alongside each other as we witness Ferrari's 1965 Le Mans winner and Ford's response, which ran away with the race for the next 4 years. Crafted from pure Italian passion, this 250 LM competed at Le Mans 3 times, one of only 6 Ferraris to do so during the Enzo era. It was the overall winner in 1965, but not because it was significantly faster or more powerful than most of the other cars. By 1965, Ferrari's Colombo V12 engine had been in development for nearly 20 years, so it was very reliable. More reliable than the flashy prototypes that gradually dropped out of the race one by one. Of the 51 cars that started at Le Mans that year, only 14 managed to finish the grueling event. Even Ferrari's factory prototype entries experienced problems, leaving this car, entered by Luigi Canetti's Nart, to save the day for Maranello. But perhaps this wasn't completely surprising, given that the 250 LM was just a closed version of the 250P that won at Le Mans in 1963. The 65 victory was the last of 6 consecutive wins by a Ferrari at Le Mans.
I am lucky enough right now to be sitting in the 1965 Le Mans winning 250 LM. It's incredibly loud. I can't get over how loud it is in this cockpit, but does it sound incredible? The gearbox is super tight, very short in between the gears. It feels like it's on rails. You barely need to turn the steering wheel. It's planted to the ground. And the sound, it's unbelievable.
This Ford GT40 Mk II, an American icon, is a part of Ford's greatest racing dynasty, crafted from American determination. When Henry Ford II famously decided to beat Ferrari at its own game after the Italian automaker refused a buyout, Ford jumped directly into the deep end, acquiring the design of a rear-engine Lola as its starting point and using development teams from the UK, Detroit, and Southern California to forge a true competitor. But success didn't come easily. The GT40 labored at Le Mans for 2 years before the engineers came up with the winning specification in 1966. This car was one of 3 GT40 Mk II examples prepared for the 1966 race by the famed Holman Moody, known for its extensive experience in NASCAR. Which makes sense, because the big block 7-liter engines which powered the Mk IIs were essentially NASCAR engines repositioned for sports car racing.
I'm in the 1966 Ford GT40 Mk II. They built just 8 of these cars, ran Le Mans, didn't end up completing it, but just an unbelievable car, super rare opportunity, so we're gonna take it for a quick spin here. Doesn't really like it till about 3,000 RPM. You can feel the 7-liter displacement of this motor. You can tell that it's a giant V8 engine in this car. Now, if I were to compare this car to the 1965 250 LM I just got out of, the shifting isn't as precise as the LM is. It feels a bit different. It's good, but it's not as tight and as short a throw. Pretty cool for us to have both cars in our care and custody right now. And I just hopped from one to the other, and being able to drive them both within a couple hours of each other is pretty cool.
There was undeniably a bit of bad blood between Ford and Ferrari by 1966. You've probably heard the story. Movies were made about it. By 1966, Ford had been trying to beat Ferrari at Le Mans for 3 years. And you might say they realized a healthy dose of revenge that day. I guess the third time is the charm. It's rare to see either of these machines in action, even by themselves. But together, here on this airstrip, that's something truly extraordinary.